I learned was there are only 4 things that you need to master in order to reach your dream of freedom. Just 4. And I'm going to share what those 4 are with you now. The first one is goals. Now, goals, my worry about goals is people don't have goals. 97% of the population don't actually have any goals. Now, if you have no goals, then what happens is you often fall into the goals of other people. So they'll set goals for you, and they'll derive all the profit from your contribution. What I mean by that is, what do you think's in it for you? Not much, would you agree? Yes or no? Yeah? Yeah, if you allow other people to set your goals for you. So the thing is that Your Money or Your Life Bootcamp, which is the event I run, I'm going to tell you about that later, but my students, they set their own goals. And I actually, some of you might have got this, right? I sent a questionnaire out before the event called the 8 bank busting questions. Some of you might not have that, that's fine, you can download it for free off the website. And we are going to do an exercise from the 8 bank busting questions. But those are sufficient questions for you to ask yourself so you can identify your goals. But what we do is, with my students, we work on that and we make sure we've got a very clear line of sight of who it is we're born to be, a purpose. And we could draft it into a purpose statement. So it's about goal setting. And if we don't have goals, then we're not going to really move forward with our lives. So the thing is, if we allow other people to set our goals, so financial advisors, again, I keep picking on financial advisors, sorry about this, but their goal might be that during your working life you're going to accumulate, so this is the standard system, going to accumulate money. Okay, so you're going to accumulate, working life, then retire for your last 16. You're going to crystallise your fund, then decumulate in retirement, and then you're going to die and pass on the money. The profit out of that goes to the people who are running the money. Okay. I want you to think about something else as well about profit. So we're going to talk about the profit that other people make later, because they're making a lot of profit out of that strategy. If you have your own goal, you might want to escape the treadmill now. Get out and do something now with your life. So that's what I'm going to help you to do. And then that profit, it's going to save you hundreds of thousands of pounds by doing that, because that's what can go from paying the person that's just told you to accumulate your money until you last 16 years. That's how much money they're going to make. So I don't want that to happen. I want you to have that best off in your pocket, isn't it, rather than theirs. Would you agree? Yes or no? Yeah. So the other thing is that about work, if the average earnings last year in the UK was 2.9%, so it's about 3% in your job, you get 3% as an employee increase in your earnings each year on average in the UK. Now a company, the shares increase on average in the UK 6%. So if you imagine that you're working for 50 years and you're getting 3% and your boss is getting 6%, if you like, return. And eventually you get to the end of your retirement and you're looking at what you've got to show for it, and you've got a carriage clock, right? And you look at the boss and the boss says to you, it's great you're retiring now, you're going to join us on the golf course? No, I can't afford it. You've essentially paid for a lifetime membership for your boss. Because what's happened is that 3%, 6% means that whatever you earn over your lifetime, your boss has earned twice as much. That's the effect of compound interest, twice as much. So you're looking at a carriage clock and he's looking at a big house and lifetime membership or whatever. So that's by living the goals of others, it's by not having goals. So you're going to have your own goals, yes or no? Yes. Yes, you're going to set your own goals. The other thing about goal setting is that we can limit ourselves. We can think, well, I'm going to set some goals that I kind of, okay, I think I can achieve it. And you're not really ambitious. Does that make sense? Yes. So the trouble is, if you don't set big, inspiring goals, then you still don't get out of servitude. You don't get out of the rat race. You're just still there. You might get a promotion. That was your goal. So, yeah, but you're still in the rat race. So it was Tony Robbins that said, people aren't inherently lazy. They just fail to set inspiring goals. It was Oprah Winfrey that said that goals are set in spirit. What the word inspirational comes from in spirit, and that's kind of the way we kind of create our goals. It comes through intuition. What we intuitively know is right for us is who we want to be, who we're born to be. That's where the goals come from. It was Margaret Mead, an American philosopher, that said, never doubt that a few thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Your goals can be massive. And I encourage people to have big goals, and sometimes people question me and say, that can't possibly I couldn't possibly do that by this time next year. And I challenge them back and say, we'll deal with that later, at a later stage. I want to dare you to dream big and dream what could be impossible. At this stage, I want you to be really, really big. So what, if you allowed yourself to dream that big, what would you dream? What would your big, inspiring dream be? Could you believe that you could be financially free this time next year? That you could be, in one of these higher positions as a player, a champion, or even a legend? Because that's how big I want the dream to be. I don't want it to be limited. So I put it into, you okay? I put it into context. We think about it. How do we get a man on the moon? How did we, come up with vaccines to kind of get rid of diseases? These are people who had big goals and big ideas. Would you agree? Yes or no? Yeah. So if they can do it, and it's in fact the only thing, by dreaming big, it's the only thing that's ever changed the world. Are you going to dream big? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Great. Okay. So that's goals, and it's about not limiting yourself and having some.